So, this episode is an extended version of the end credits scene from Ant-Man and the Quantumania.
Yep.
Ant-Man the Wasp, Quantumania, sorry. I want to forget about that. I thought it was interesting. I was like, when are we going to get to that? We're there. Also, I love when shows do things like this. The old-timey 1980s version of the Marvel theme that played in the beginning. It's fantastic.
So good.
I love when shows do that.
Yeah, and anytime that they like get to play around with like either the logo or the music, it's always so good.
Mm-hmm. We also have Renslayer trying to come up with my favorite thing that happens in these shows: time paradoxes.
Of which there are many.
How did he know about the TVA? I dropped off a booklet of the TVA, a different version of himself made in the past, so that he would know to make the TVA in the future. But then technically, you never would.
This is the problem with time travel. Like the one consistent rule is that every rule is different, even within like the same series.
Well, like, this is at least better because this guy technically wasn't going to make the TVA. This is on a different timeline in a multiverse. She's changing that guy's future. So that's at least different. It's not like in like every Terminator movie past 2 where they went, this thing was invented because of this thing we found in the past. But yet, that thing was not found in the past unless we went back in the past in the first place after we were in the future. That one in Dark Fate, oh my gosh. They made the Rev 6 because they found the Rev 6 we left in the past. What?
Man, I haven't seen that movie in a minute.
No, I haven't watched it since we did the review, and I don't plan on watching it ever again. That thing had some good ideas in it, and it is garbo. Anyway, so, yeah, so she tries to create a new man at the end of time through Victor Timely, who is one of the variants that we encounter. And this is the most just innocent of all of them. He has literally no idea what's going on. He's one Kang variant that is just not in the Matrix 2 mosh pit in that one freaking room that's going off on. He's just one that's just minding his own business, not knowing anything's ever happening. So there's that.
And, you know, despite whatever legal trouble he's in right now, that doesn't take away from the fact that Jonathan Majors
is a really good actor.
Yeah, he gave a tremendous performance.
So I hope that it gets figured out, and I hope that he's innocent because he's a really good actor, and I'd hate it if he was a douchebag. But anyway, so we're also finding out that it wasn't just back down to one timeline for the end of it. There's already as many branches as what there were repopulating already, as we found out. You have to prune them all the time. The Sacred Timeline is the fastest growing weed in history.
That's basically what pruning is. It's weed management.
Mm-hmm. It's unreal. I was just like, oh, so we lost all the timelines that fast, huh? Then Ouroboros is like, they're already back to getting all the timelines back. We're all going to die. Man,
God, I love K Kwan so much.
I want K Kwan to somehow have to meet Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh God, that'll be quite the interaction.
Can you imagine if somehow those two are in the same universe again? You can't not have them meet. Harrison Ford ain't got many films left in him, or he shouldn't, because I'll tell you, you can tell when he cares now, and it's becoming less and less.
Yep.
But Yeah, so we get this whole schmaz about how he is your stereotypical snake oil salesman, I guess, about how only some of his things work. Like he's selling mechanical pants to make people taller.
That's like one of the oldest tricks in the book.
And I love how you actually saw spring-loaded devices in the pants if you looked at those closely to try and stretch the human being. I'm just like, it's so stupid. But yeah, that was very, very good. One of these made me laugh. They have him going through this whole thing with I like how we have 3 defined forces in this series. Chaotic good,
Yep.
which is Mobius and Loki in the TVA. Uh, bordering on
lawful evil, I would say, is Renslayer.
Renslayer, and then chaotic evil is Sylvie. Or just chaotic. Just chaotic, I guess. She doesn't know what she is yet.
I would call her chaotic neutral.
It's just.
But what about Miss Minutes?
Well, Miss Minutes is, from the end of it, we could see that she's still there with Renslayer. And they're still figuring their crap out. She wants the same thing Renslayer does. It's just both of them want it more than the other with the other person. So oh man, I had a really good example in my head of like they know they're going to screw each other over. But like they each have, and like here at the end of the episode, she has a really big secret about Renslayer that's going to piss her off if she tells her it.
I am dying to know what that is.
So get them through. We have the awesome scene running away in the carousel in the lodge. I want to know if there were ever New York studio apartment sized Ferris wheels ever.
Seriously, like I thought they were like I didn't realize until maybe like a transition later that they're in one of the Ferris wheel carts, but I thought for a second they were just like on like in like the entrance.
Also, I have to laugh. Speaking of that, starting last night at about 11 p.m., I was streaming Spider-Man 2, and I was going through the stuff and like spoiler for anyone watching. In the first version of their game, there is a very heartfelt moment at the end where Peter has to choose between saving May Parker and saving the city because the antidote is going to cure one or the other, and the only sample he has is with him. And they give him the choice to either do that, and he has to watch Aunt May die. And then in the second game, or I should say the second main title game, they had a Miles Morales spinoff in the middle. You get to go to Aunt May's house, and then it's showing that again because Spider-Man's Marvel's favorite punching bag. You saw that he's a month behind in rent. It was $4,700.
Jesus.
And I'm watching this. I'm like, huh? And then I get like 3 people down in the comments going, yeah, that's New York for you. I'm like, what?
And that's why I'm not living down in the city.
Yeah, and it's like she was like off on the chunk of like I want to say Manhattan, off in the small parts, and like they the reveal on stream. My mortgage per month is $432.
What?
Yeah, and my total bills for electricity, for sewer pickup, for water and heating, cooling, everything is on one bill in the town I live in, Wisconsin. And during the summer months when I don't have to have the heat running, it's $170.
Wow.
And I put that, and my chat exploded with, so is the snow really that bad in Wisconsin? Like, no, you get used to it after a while. But anyway, that's where I had to laugh when they're going through all this and they're running. And he goes, I do all of my sales in Chicago. My actual lab is in Wisconsin. The taxes are cheaper. I don't know why. Like in these movies, it's so rare for someone to ever have a reason to bring up Wisconsin. That's why it makes me so happy whenever it gets brought up.
Yeah, it's like it only ever gets brought up when there's, something about cheese or
just like the Northwoods. But even then, they normally say Minnesota. But yeah, it just warms my heart. I was like, ah, it's so dumb that I love it. Shout out to Wisconsin, but it's great. But yeah, or if you were in any of the movies that like Lorne Michaels did with Chris Farley. Yeah, we got to figure out that they're all wanting kind of the same thing, but we don't know what Renslayer and Miss Minutes' plan is because they wanted to bring him back to the TVA too.
Yeah, but from what I gather, Renslayer wants how should I put this? She wants everything to go back to the way it was before.
She does, but kind of with her being the one most in charge. Because that wasn't how it was before.
Now
she
that's
was just acting out and had no idea that he even existed.
That's true.
So I was just kind of like, huh. All right, so we got that going on. And then you get the ever going on betray each other, not betray each other, where Renslayer wants a partnership. Mr. Timely doesn't do partnerships, drops her off the boat in the freaking escape boat. I can't think of, there's a name for it. Oh my gosh. Lifeboats.
Yeah.
But and then you would have heard her. She wanted a partnership, and we just can't have that happen. And then we find out that Miss Minutes be thirsty. Miss Minutes got to program her own needs, and it involves a little bit of the horizontal mambo.
I mean, did you see the way they animated her?
Oh, that's sort of getting creepy. When they posted the face on top of the mannequin, and then she was just like, "Oh, I got it," and he like zaps her away. I'm like, I mean, if you looked actually like Tara Strong, I have a strong argument for why someone wasn't going to resist you. But you are in a digital alarm clock that doesn't have the parts required to get what you want, girl.
Yeah.
But you could have made me anything. You didn't even try. Renslayer wants to go back and have the TVA back to how it was. Miss Minutes really wants to get laid.
Hold on, I thought of something. Miss Minutes has the motivation that Thanos has in the comics, but gender flipped.
Yeah. Well, kinda, because you don't got the mass death involved.
True.
It's just like, gosh. I try to talk to people about that, by the way, and they're like, "Yeah, man, the comics just make much more sense." Thanos was killing people because he was horny. As much as you might not believe that he could use the Infinity Stones to make more resources, which just would not make sense in the long run, that is not a better option for a villain. I'm sorry. Horniness is not a good excuse for genocide. I don't care. But yeah, so and then oh boy. Then we get the final moments where they're having the big argument and then trying to get Timely back to the TVA. You got a really, really good moment between Timely and Sylvie where I'm like, Majors, please tell me you're not a douchebag in real life and all this gets sorted out.
I love that scene, and something that I really love about this episode is how it really kind of focuses in on the theme of free will.
Yes.
And how everyone wants it, but it doesn't necessarily come easy.
It doesn't, and not all people understand what they actually want to do with it,
or the limits of free will.
Yeah. It's something else. But anyway, yeah, so I'm looking forward to see where it goes because now we have Miss Minutes and Renslayer just at the end of time.
Yeah. And of course, looking at the rotting corpse of He Who Remains, I imagine neither one are processing that well.
No, that's they have to kind of face the reality of that said situation. But yeah, that's something. I didn't think we were going to go back there at all.
I also love how Sylvie kind of paralleling how she kicked Loki out of the end of time. She did the exact same thing to Renslayer, kicking her into the end of time.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty funny. I appreciated that. And it was good. Excited to see where it goes from here because I don't know what they're doing next.
Hold on. One other thing
it's going to conclude with Majors or with Timely doing something weird in the TVA because we only got 3 episodes left.
That's true. One thing I forgot to point out was in like the first half of the episode they find this like these sculptures of like the Norse gods.
Yeah.
And Loki of course is like, what's this? It's completely inaccurate.
No one even remembers Boulder. We didn't even have him in the movies. Thor isn't that tall.
Thor isn't that tall.
I often forget you're one of those. Wow. He hasn't said that yet in the show either. He didn't say it in season 1, and he hasn't said it yet. It's kind of nuts to me.
We're gonna get one by the end of this season, I bet.
It's ridiculous. Oh yeah, most likely. All right, I got nothing else unless you're good.
Yeah, basically this was just a fun romp through time.
Absolutely.
It's the second half of the season now that I'm very much looking forward to.
Yes. Look forward to how it goes because this might be one of the last shows we ever get that's 6 episodes long.
True.
Not excited about that. But anyway, yeah. Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on various social media at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/Coach K42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and that place at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, Podchaser. Subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
All right. You can find me ever at Organite Zero, mainly Twitch and YouTube. And, every now and then on the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. All right. Until next time, we'll see you all later. Bye.
Peace.